Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to RPG Limit Break. Coming at you very shortly, we have yet another Dragon Warrior Randomizer match. We've got a quarterfinal match here between jkoper and up2ng. We have the winner here taking on Thurwolf, who upended Game Boy F9 a little earlier. Good evening, everybody. I am Z-Man050778, and joining me tonight in the commentary booth is the Amused Miniature. How are you doing tonight, my friend?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic. I am very, very excited to see this match go down. jkoper and up2ng are both very, very strong players. We are in for a treat this evening. And then also the upset Thurwolf taking out Game Boy F9 a little bit earlier is pretty huge. Game Boy F9 being the former tournament champion is definitely a very, very large play for Thurwolf.
Yeah, indeed. Congratulations to him earlier. But we have jkoper and up2ng. These are two extraordinarily evenly matched competitors. I'm expecting to see a very, very, very close race here between these two veterans. jkoper has taken down a couple of titans in Nest Cardinality and Ryguy through the bracket here, while up2ng has taken down Smashy and Melee Wizard. So these guys have taken down some stiff competition, and now this is going to be a slobber knocker tonight, I do believe. And before we actually get going tonight, we want to thank Callahan11 for their subscription. Thank you very much.
Yes, absolutely. Definitely in for a very well-paced match. Both of these players very good at balancing exploration and experience grinding, as well as making sure that they stay focused through the end game and make very, very little mistakes. It is definitely a treat to see these two facing off in a head-to-head match.
Indeed, and we are just now waiting for the go-ahead from SRL to start things up. So, again, this is the second of four quarterfinal matches, and the kind of noteworthy thing here about this quarterfinal round is this is the last round of one and dones. The semifinal and the final are both best 2 out of 3. So, a loss here will eliminate the loser, but a loss in game 1 of the semifinals will not necessarily eliminate a person. So that is going to be very interesting as we move forward.
To answer a question, chat, RGL stands for Retro Gaming Live. It is a Twitch team. I don't know a whole lot about them myself, but I do know the acronym.
And I do believe that was just a misspeak on my part. I'm an SRL, the Speedruns Live, the timing protocol we use here. So, whoops, initials all the same, I suppose.
Indeed. And, it's commentator's curse. We're bound to make a mistake here and there.
So at this point now, we are getting the go-ahead from SRL, and we are just now going to wait for Twitch delay to pick up. We have both of our runners here going with strength HP builds. We do have jkoper and up2ng doing strength HP. So this is going to be interesting to see what our initial stats are. If our tracker Wicked Gamer Dude could pull them up for us quick, that would be fantastic. Ooh, we've got strength in the red. We got some nice MP, but of course no spells to cast it with. We have some low HP, but really, really not so good strength. All right, let's see what we have here. We have the Death Necklace. We have a magic key, or we're going to have a double key seed. So we do have the possibility for an early gold grind here.
Absolutely, and the thing to note here is you can see that the HP is kind of flashing a brighter orange and then a darker orange, and that states that HP is the lowest possible value that can be rolled.
And it is, well, right now it appears to be a swamp start, so let's see what we have here. We have wings. We have an herb, so that's actually going to help. An herb, okay, what do we have? That may or may not be an herb. That is the silver harp. And we have a bamboo pole. Not a bamboo pole. We have another herb. So it looks like they're going to be able to grind up on herbs pretty quick here. So up2ng certainly getting his fill of 6 herbs.
Yeah, this is definitely an interesting start. Making the decision to waste that one key that they have for the herbs versus just resetting and keeping that key. That's kind of the decision that jkoper is going with. And it looks like they have a rather large swamp, but they do have a town nearby. So that might come into play here. jkoper making his way over there. Runs into a scorpion and with 11 agility is blocked, but manages to get away, and we find the town of Remoldar. So very, very interesting to see Remoldar this close to start, especially with us having to utilize that magic key.
So Remoldar is kind of a good news, bad news situation here. Remoldar is great news because you can get keys super early right outside Tantagel Castle. Of course, the problem is, Remoldar is the one town in Alefgard that does not have an item shop, so you cannot sell that death necklace, even if you wanted to.
Absolutely. And another thing to note here as well, up2ng, just seeing if he can get lucky in this first zone here, while jkoper is going around to check the bottom of Tantagel Castle. This might go to Garenham, we don't know. But with this being the start that we have here, I would not be surprised if we did not see our runners make an attempt at the Silver Harp to see if we can get some weaker enemies off of that pool.
So this looks to be, it's either Swamp Cave or Mountain Cave. It kind of looks like Mountain Cave.
I'm definitely in agreement there. It is the Mountain Cave.
Jokite, thank you very much for your subscription. It is very much appreciated.
And jkoper coming face to face with a green dragon, immediately sent back to the castle, as is up2ng from a skeleton. This is a very, very rough start for these runners.
Dweddit asks in chat, what was in the throne room? We have the death necklace and we had 2 keys. So it does look like jkoper is going to pull a reset here, and I wonder if he's going to do an herb grind here, now that he knows herb grind is indeed possible here.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I kind of expected him to try a different name choice just to see if he could start off with a little better HP and strength. But that is definitely not the case here. Draki's having the hurt spell is pretty bad with this level of HP, and not really able to take them on yet either.
Yeah, so really what our runners are looking for here are slimes or red slimes. The Drakies with 5 strength, you're actually going to miss them. I believe it's more than 50% of the time due to a quirk in the way things are calculated in the game. So what our runners really need right here are either some, regular old slimes or red slimes. Those are definitely what we're looking for. Ooh, another town. What do we have here? We have the town of Cole. This could be big.
I'm just happy to see a shop that has an item shop.
Ooh, and it does have a broadsword, and the death necklace does sell for 1,500. This could be very interesting. Do you sell the death necklace for that 1,500 to get a broadsword? Meanwhile, up2ng discovers Erdrick's armor.
Okay, that is going to be very, very huge here. He's not going to have to worry about swamp damage anymore. He also has defense to break some of these earlier game enemies. Definitely making the debate on selling that death necklace there. But elects to check out this cave here, which by the looks of it, it looks like it's Swamp North.
And I did misspeak. I do apologize. Death necklace sells for 1,200, not 1,500. So could not buy a broadsword on his own at that point there. Ooh, and finds a slime.
Definitely what we're looking for here. And jkoper has also stocked up on a bunch of wings. Maybe he will be looking to sell the wings in conjunction with that death necklace to get some strength on the board. And meanwhile, Garenham is a thing here.
Garenham right outside the swamp cave, on the other side of the swamp cave, because right outside of the town of Cole was Swamp North, and outside of Swamp South is indeed Garenham, and he does sell the death necklace for that 1,200 gold.
Yeah, this is definitely a risk reward kind of situation here. The only thing he's really going to be able to pick up here is the club and the large shield, so he's not going to add too much to his attack value. But definitely stacking up that defense very nicely. 43 on the defense total right now is definitely something that we are happy to have.
Yeah, but yeah, even that club now puts certainly those Drakeys with hurt in the mix, because now the hurt is going to do significantly less damage thanks to Erdrick's armor and a dragon scale, and certainly, and might even put a ghost or maybe even that scorpion into play. We shall see.
So you're going to be looking at ghosts here on this one. So the scorpion, you need to have a minimum attack power of 12 to guarantee 1 damage on it. And up2ng sent directly home via the Stone Man here, but has picked up a lot of things here in the last couple of minutes. Has a very, very large advantage over jkoper right now. The only thing that could really play into jkoper's favor here is him going down and checking to see if he can maybe pick up the sword or something to that effect here in the bottom of the mountain cave.
And right here, we are seeing how Erdrick's armor is having a huge effect on this race. up2ng has found a ghost in what we are assuming to be Zone 0, right outside of Tantegel Castle, which jkoper cannot walk back and forth from without using up all of his herbs. Does take down the ghost for an absolutely terrible level.
Yeah, that's definitely not the level 2 that you want to see here.
So it does look like the zone that up2 wants is certainly right to the west of Tantegel Castle. It does look like that is your zone. We have a metal slime here for jkoper. This could be huge. With only 5 strength, the metal slime cannot run away. But can jkoper do the damage? No, he's going to try to run instead.
Yeah, that's just really unfortunate. Seeing a metal slime that can do this much damage to us is definitely a smack in the face.
It would be interesting to see if jkoper actually had any herbs in his inventory there, because those herbs could have really, at least afforded jkoper a few extra turns to try to take down that metal slime.
The key was used to get into the basement of Tantegel, and both of our herb chests were in the treasury. So right now, the only thing he has in his possession is that death necklace, and that's it.
Ooh, so that could be and of course you have a blue dragon right here, which is not a good thing. Oh, look, but you can run from a blue dragon at 11 agility, something you can't often do at, 100 agility.
Indeed, that was definitely a stroke of luck, but we also saw that they have the Spell of Stop spell. The Spell of Stop spell could play huge into if they are available for a grind enemy later.
And meanwhile, once up2ng takes down this ghost, he will be within 1 experience point of level 3.
So blue dragons are actually pretty favorable enemies. They have weak breath and stop spell. With that Erdrick's armor, later on, they are going to be a cakewalk that's easy to pick up on 180 experience.
Sandman Ahoy asking in chat, what do the red stats on the tracker mean? Red stats mean very low for their level, and if you take a look at jkoper's flashing 10 HP stat, that actually means that is a minimum roll. Speaking of minimum roll, again, not a real great start here for up2ng at level 3, but you do get the hurt spell. So that should now be, enable up2ng to take down some more enemies a little quicker. That metal scorpion is now in play that we saw. The regular scorpion is in play. So we're definitely now seeing with that hurt spell some more possibilities opening up.
Absolutely. That might even bring into play the metal scorpion that he saw just north of the castle earlier. These scorpions definitely playable as well, as they go down in a 1 hurt spell most of the time. So he's going to pick up level 4, and we see 13 power. There's all our power, another 8 HP, and another spell with 3 MP.
All right, so there's some power, but with the hurt spell in your back pocket, you're just going to hurt some of these scorpions.
Yeah, absolutely. One round combat is much more favorable than 2-round combat.
And up to NG now, very, very consistently taking on those scorpions and winning, and is very steadily building his HP lead. jkoper still trying to get to the first chest of the mountain cave here.
To answer High Spirit's chat question, the armor was not through the cave. It was actually in Cole, which is just south of the castle. It's around a little bit of a river there. It's a little bit difficult to see, but it was definitely an early pickup that gives a huge advantage to up2ng right now.
So I'm a little surprised here that up to no good, given that he's after the scorpion kill, that up to no good is going to have 300 and some gold pieces, but has not gone back to Rumeldar to stock up with keys. That would seem to be a very prudent next line. Oh, okay, or he's going to do it right now. Okay.
I think he was just trying to exhaust some resources, try to pick up what experience he can, get himself a little bit further ahead in this experience race here, because it seems like experience is definitely going to be what it comes down to here. We've already found a good portion of the available chests before Sharlock, so that's definitely something that he's going to be thinking about.
Something else to note here as we progress forward, blue dragons have baby breath. So with blue dragons having baby breath and the stop spell, these are going to make for some ideal grind enemies later in the game if we happen to get lucky enough to see one on a trap tile.
Yeah, absolutely. Erdrick's sword in Rimuldar, so attack power is not an issue anymore for up2ng. jkoper continuing to beat his head against this mountain cave. Unfortunately, is just falling further and further behind at this point.
Wow, that gives up to no good a huge advantage, having Erdrick's sword and Erdrick's armor 14 minutes into the game. Oh my.
And at this point, no gold grind is available, so he has the equipment he is going to finish the game out with, most likely. We're looking at a large shield finish here. We did see a silver shield in Garanham, but that's 14,000 gold pieces, and that takes a lot to hold on to.
Although that said, you never know what we might be able to find in the mountain cave. We might be able to kind of reverse engineer a gold grind in the mountain cave, or we also have seen Garanham. So if the grave of Garen happens to be under there, we could manufacture a gold grind there as well.
Actually, is that actually the case? Because I believe that only would put us up to 8 chests, right? There's 5 in the grave and 3 in the back of Garanham.
I can add. Well, if the grave is in the back, because we've seen the swamp cave, right, and we've seen the mountain cave. So the only other cave we haven't seen with enemies in it is the grave of Garen. So you get the 3 out of Garanham, you die in the grave of Garen, you pick up the 3 in the treasure, you pick up the 3 in the throne room, you get a chest or 2 out of the treasury, then you go to the mountain cave. It'd be a pain, but it could be done.
Okay, I see what you're saying now. Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about the mountain cave being in the bottom here, and it's fairly likely that we'll see some gold in here somewhere.
So jkoper is actually making his way over to this first chest, getting a bit of a hero run here. Oh, gets sniped by a blue dragon. Can he get away? Nope.
Oh,
wait,
maybe. There's a stop spell.
Nope. Tilo bringing up a very good point in chat that If this first chest of the mountain cave happens to be a gold chest, then he could very well take some of that gold, go to Rimmeldar, get keys, and get the sword. So that could be a very interesting play if Koper happens to get lucky enough to get gold on the top floor here.
Absolutely. Up2ng is now going to check out the mountain cave as well. Both of these players more than apt enough to do these caves in the dark. Up2ng electing to use that torch though. So we're going to see the first chest here, and it is another torch.
And up to looks to be taking on this Wyvern here. Should be doable, especially now that the Wyvern has Stop Spell.
Yeah, the Wyvern has Stop Spell, and with 54 defense power, we're not quite defense breaking it, but it's not doing enough damage to outweigh Heal Spell, so we're guaranteed to get an attack in between it attacking Up2ng.
We have a question in chat. From Weasel, what did I miss that Koper doesn't have anything? Okay, so here's the issue with this particular start here. If you take a look at jkoper's stats, jkoper has 10 HP. We are swamp locked here in this particular seed. The zone to kill enemies is to the left of Tantagel Castle, which is swamp. The reason why up2ng has stuff that Koper doesn't is because up2ng actually got through the swamp with some herbs that he ground from an herb grind available in the treasury at first. Used those herbs to get south and west of Tantagel Castle, where Cole is, that had the armor, which allowed him to grind on the weak enemies, which allowed him to open up the seed and get keys and get Erdrick's sword out of Rimmeldar, which is nearby.
Yeah, absolutely. There's definitely some very, very nice play there. I did not see a gold chest grabbed for up2ng. He has one chest left in the mountain cave, but he was unfortunately not able to make it because of an Axe Knight. That's going to be a little bit of a tall order to try and make it down there again. So he's just going to move on, go back to Cole here.
Squall says, so were there 2 keys in the throne room? Yep, 2 keys in the throne room.
Yes, and up2ng making really good use of the Erdrick's armor and Erdrick's sword to pick up level 7 here. And another 24 power, 1 speed, 2 hit points, 4 magic, and the spell of Heal More. So definitely a good setup there. That's a good attack boost. You can start thinking about taking on some really tough enemies now.
Yeah, that attack power of 87 certainly starts bringing up some late mid-game enemies as possibilities. So he's in real good shape here. I missed what he's trying to grind on here in this particular desert.
So we've seen wolves here, which are always great experience, but you also have scorpions, drakies, and I think I've seen slimes here as well. So it's just a very safe zone for up2ng, and with it being right next to Cole, that's pretty favorable, but it looks like he's branching out, going to get a little exploring done now.
And so it looks like we have a couple of questions or a couple of newcomers to chat asking what the heck is going on that jkoper is, so far behind, up2ng so far ahead. Well, okay. As you can see, we have a swamp locked seed here. Zone 0 is directly to the left of Tantagel Castle, which is, swamp locked. Well, go back and forth on those swamp tiles a few times and you die. So what happened was up2ng checked the treasury with the 2 magic keys he got right away and managed to get an herb grind. If you go south and to the west of Tantagel Castle, you will find the town of Cole. The town of Cole had Erdrick's armor, which allows you to then access that gold, the experience guide location, which allows you to get up enough gold to get keys from Rimmeldar, which then allows you access to Erdrick's sword, which is in Rimmeldar. Yeah. So that's basically what up2ng did for the first 10 minutes of this seed, and it has paid off in spades.
And to address a question in chat, the cave that was just to the south of Cole there, that is Swamp North, which links to Swamp South, and right next to Swamp South, probably about 5 or 6 tiles away, is the town of Granham.
So what jkoper needs to do is he needs to get his butt south, not north. And if he can do that, he's got the time to catch back up here. I mean, 500 experience, it may seem daunting at the beginning of the game, but that is something that can be, caught up on very quickly. And we do have another cave here on up2ng side. This looks like Tablet Cave.
Yep. Definitely going to be Tablet Cave. Worth going down and checking this out, seeing as how he picked up the outside spell last level. That's just going to make this a really quick check, not leaving anything behind. And the token is here. Wow. That's just swinging everything in favor of up2ng here. He's one key item away from being Sharlock eligible. He just needs the Stones of Sunlight and the Staff of Rain Cave, and then boom, he's ready.
To borrow a catchphrase from our wonderful commentator Ferran Burgundy, everything's coming up2ng. I mean, every place up2ng is turning, he is just finding great thing after great thing. It's really kind of amazing.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of luck involved there, but him just branching out and exploring, deciding to go and look around for things is paying dividends. Well, unfortunately, jkoper decided to beat his head against the brick wall of Mountain Cave there for just a little bit too long, I think.
And of course, RNG does not appear to be helping jkoper out much, not really allowing him to even get out of the swamp right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Just getting some really, really terrible luck here. up2ng continuing to grind a little bit here, it looks like, seeing if he can pick up a mid-game enemy or two here in this plain zone.
So jkoper doing another hard reset and starting up a new file. I wonder if he's going to try to do an herb grind here, finally.
Yeah, definitely would be huge for him if he could, and if he can make it to the south where Cole is, it'd definitely be huge, but there is a good 20-minute deficit here between these two runners right now.
And we have yet another town to the north in another swamp, and it is the town of Hawksness. And the Seawolf bringing up in chat, what about the possibility of a name change? I mean, that is absolutely possible because, the name you pick and its associated stats. So if you take a look at jkoper's name, his name is Jay, which is a strength HP build. Well, the thing about a strength HP build is that you actually start a little lower than the other stats, right? So AG and MP start a little higher, strength HP start a little lower. So maybe you think about doing a strength agility build in order to get... Oh, wait, here's a metal slime. Can jkoper take down this metal slime?
It'd definitely be huge. He needs to get it.
The third.
Wow. Okay, so jkoper immediately back into the experience run for this race. That is going to put him at level 6. Unfortunately, the stat gains between there and level 6 were very, very minimal. But he definitely picked up some good spells, and he's definitely got a lot more survivability now.
There we go. So that's the one thing that absolutely can get jkoper back in this race. We have up2ng Brackenary, and does the only sensible thing, just backing out of it immediately.
Yeah, the only time you like to see Breckenary is when you're low on resources and you need a refill. I guess it being next to Charlock would count too.
Bobski, yes, capital J is strength HP.
I don't think that jkoper is going for another metal slime. He headed back upstairs, which signals to me that he is looking to grab all the treasure chests here.
And up2ng finding the town of Cantlin. So he's just finding everything right now. So Cantlin will give us coordinates if they are to be found in this particular seed. Let's see what the old man has to say. The old man says, "Thou must go and fight. There is nothing on the overworld spot." So that means Hawksness probably has the fairy flute if it has anything.
Yep, if the fairy flute is not in a chest, it's definitely in Hawksness.
And just to the north of the town of Cantlin, we have the Big C, Charlock Castle.
And there's a lot of enemies in the mountain cave that have the stop spell. Wolves, wyverns, and blue dragons all have it.
That's actually really nice for getting through that cave. It'd be nicer if Koper had the Erdrick's armor that we know to be relatively close by, but so be it.
And now that Koper's strength is over 20, those metal slimes have a good chance of running away. But if he does see another one, he'll probably look to grab it, so...
And jkoper doing some torch grinding. You know, the torch grind would be absolutely fantastic if you were grinding torches in the next version of the randomizer. That's a magic key, Koper. Go back, get magic keys. Anyway, I think he just figured it out. Yep, he's going back. He's maxing out on keys. So Rimmeldar being right outside, he could very well pick up that sword very quickly.
Absolutely. And if he heads just the slightest bit south, he'll see Cole, and he will be right back into this race.
And what do we have here in the bottom? We have, look at this. We have a gold grind possible in the bottom of the mountain cave. This could also be huge because if Koper gets up enough gold, he could very well get that silver shield out of the very nearby. Was it Cole or Garanham that had the silver shield?
Garanham is the only one that we've seen the weapon shop having the silver shield. So this is definitely very, very big for jkoper. He's just got to go in the right direction in order to get the silver shield.
And he has the outside spell, so he doesn't have to worry about, grinding to die and reduce half of your gold. He can just cast outside and be right on where he needs to be.
Absolutely. And we did see that the magic armor is in Rimmeldar, so I would imagine that he's going to pick up the magic armor. The only downside to this is that up2ng is just expanding that experience lead right now, while jkoper is down here and winging away at this gold grind here. But he will be able to branch out and do a lot of exploration once he gets some better equipment.
And also something to keep in mind with something that Tilo brings up in chat. Remember, up2ng sold his death necklace. jkoper still has his. So if this happens to be a seed where death necklace is quote-unquote required toward the end of it, that could very well work in jkoper's benefit.
Absolutely. There's so many things that can swing either way, and it's just the small little fine details that are going to make the biggest difference here, I think.
And good thing for Coper, he's actually going to open up his sword chest before going to the armory.
Yep, absolutely. He's probably a little panicked to see the sword right there. If I was in his spot, I'd be thinking, "Oh crap, somebody probably got here with some gold before I did." And jkoper actually not finding anything in Rimulder. It must have been Cole that had the magic armor.
But does pick up a small shield and leather armor, so you know what? That's still not bad. Now, if jkoper goes south, we're in business even more.
Well, even with Erdrick's sword, he's still got some pretty decent attack power. I like the way that this is looking for him. If he heads east, he's going to find Breckenary, he's going to find Caitlin. There is so much out here that he can find.
And of course, if he keeps going west, he's going to find the town of Hawksness.
In the town of Hawksness, he'll probably just nope out of because he does not have anywhere near the stats to take anything on the spike tile. And I think he knows that.
EZC123 asking in chat, how long are these runs on average? These runs tend to average 90 minutes-ish, give or take.
Oh, he's checking the spike tile. I don't know if I like this. Oh. Oh.
Well,
okay.
It's not bad.
This is survivable. Looks like he's probably 50-50 on the hurt spell. Don't know what he's going to be on the sleep spell, though. So first turn with the stop spell is pretty much going to be needed to take that Armored Knight on efficiently. Ooh, yeah, 75% sleep.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Hopefully he doesn't beat his head against this wall hoping for the armor here. And Smashy, talking about the grind, so we've also seen blue dragons, and blue dragons have baby breath and the stop spell. So they're just as favorable as the Armored Knight, I would say. The only difference being that the Armored Knight is going to be susceptible to hurt more, and the Swamp Cave being right next to a town.
And jkoper does go south and does find the town of Cole and will pick up his Erdrick's armor.
And now he just needs to go through the Swamp Cave, find Garenham, and hit up the Silver Shield, and his stats will clean up very, very nicely. And Grandra, I definitely agree with you. jkoper has got to feel like he's behind now. The armor being where it was, that kind of thing. It's just a rough spot to be in. This being the Swamp Cave, jkoper electing to go through it, so he will find the town of Garenham if he reaches the other side.
Ooh, and up2ng finding those blue dragons, but electing not to go after them just yet.
Yeah, that's definitely an interesting play because he's got plenty of HP, he's got plenty of MP. You could take down a blue dragon right now if you wanted to.
and we have up to NG getting to the other side of the swamp cave here. So really, what are we looking for here? We're looking for the Stones of Sunlight, which, if memory serves, have to be in the grave of Garen. And we are still looking for, I believe we are still looking for the Jerk, and we are still looking for the cave where you turn the harp in, the shrine cave.
Yes, absolutely. The other place that the Stones of Sunlight could be would be right here in Garenham. And then we also have the bonus cave as well that they could be in.
We've seen the bonus cave on up to NG side. The bonus cave was gold, and we have the flute in a chest. So the only overworld search spot with an item was coal.
And up2ng finding the shrine cave in the back of Garenham. Unfortunately, jkoper taking that death is not going to be able to purchase that silver shield. And there is another Sherlock enemy that has the sleep hurt combo. Looks a little less likely to use that sleep spell, though.
jkoper trying to take down a Wraith Knight here, while up to NG is hunting Star Wyvern. Or make that the Star Wyvern's hunting him.
Yes, definitely affectionately named the Jerkbird. And as we can see here, he was a pretty good favorite to win that fight, but that sleep spell just made the difference.
So up to NG is going to stock up on some keys here, and it'll be interesting to see if he dives into the mountain cave to try to pick up that 5th chest that he hasn't seen yet.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a very likely scenario here. And jkoper heading into Hawksnest probably for that play against the Armored Knight here.
And with the spell of Stop Spell, he can absolutely take out the Armored Knight if he can get that Stop Spell to hit first try.
As I think I remember seeing, they were pretty susceptible to this Stop Spell, so this should work pretty good. And then this Armored Knight is just going to spam Sleep and Hurt over and over. Or jkoper could just get really terribly unlucky.
Well, I mean, RNG is definitely a thing. I mean, in theory, that Armored Knight is only going to fight, 13% of the time, give or take. But, that in Dragon Warrior Randomizer terms, that means, at least 50%.
Absolutely. And then we have 7 speed, 11 HP, and 9 MP on the up2ng side for level 10. So no strength on that level, which is not all that surprising with 24 on the last level.
jkoper does take out that Armored Knight, finds nothing, and is like, okay, I'm gonna keep doing this.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a good opportunity for him to catch up some experience. And also, it looks like he knows that the Swamp Cave leads to another town, which is potentially a town that he needs. And then he also has seen that there is a little area west of Cole, which will lead him over to the Tablet Cave, which holds the token.
And up to NG, taking out an Axe Knight guarding the chest, gets the gold. jkoper getting to level 8. I'm sorry, level 9.
Yeah, and this experience is staying pretty even as in terms of up2ng keeping up with the experience. We'll see it kind of deviate a little bit, but up2ng is in a very, very good position to get some exploration done here.
And unless I'm mistaken, this cave here is, this is the gold containing bonus cave. So up2ng is still looking for that Grave of Garen, which at this point I'm pretty sure we know has the Stones of Sunlight.
That is correct. That is the only set of chests that can potentially house it. Also, Knights with the Hurt spell. Some pretty favorable enemies on the overworld here for up2ng. Unfortunately, a dead end.
Nope, and we do have a cave here on up2ng side. This is either the grave or it's going to be the jerk. The cave where you turn in your Staff of Rain, Stones of Sunlight, and Erdrick's token for the rainbow drop. It is going to be one of the two. And it is indeed the Grave of Garen, which it looks like up2ng is going to do in the dark.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the more difficult caves to navigate from top to bottom. There's a lot of back and forth that goes on here, so this definitely takes quite a bit of skill to accomplish. But up2ng picking up the Stones of Sunlight, got very lucky with it being on the top 3, and now all he needs is the jerk, and then he is in grind and go.
Now, there is a possibility that he did find the jerk, and I did not see it. There is that possibility, and we are getting indication in chat that maybe he did find the jerk, and we just missed it.
I think that's definitely a possibility. The big thing there would be next to the tablet cave, I believe. That's the only cave that I didn't see the player actually enter. 27 power on level 11. And all of a sudden, we're able to do damage to the Dragon Lord.
Yep, and we are getting confirmation in chat that he has found the Rainbow Drop Cave. So at this point now, he's just going to turn in his stuff for the Rainbow Drop, go to Sherlock, and find a place to grind.
Absolutely. I don't know if he checked the grind spot in the swamp cave, but he also hasn't seen the spike tile in Hawksness. So he's probably going to be doing a little bit of research here, trying to figure out where everything is and try to go from there.
Yeah, this Armored Knight grind here would be fantastic. It is a fantastic spot to grind, although it does look like up2ng is going to check out the spike tile here in the swamp cave.
No, it is not the voices in your head, Baby Strip. My kiddo is reading a book about electricity. We're learning about electricity.
Always important to learn about electricity.
Meanwhile, jkoper is taking on a red dragon here. I don't know that I like this.
So let's see what up2 decides to do now that he got sent back to the throne room. It's entirely possible he makes the run up to Hawksness to take a look at that spike tile.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably definitely going to be what we see here. And jkoper has done an excellent job of closing up this experience gap. Right now, with the layout of everything, I think that this is indeed the time to finish out that grind and then go take care of your errands. This is a very, very effectual grind, and it is nowhere near anything that you need to get in order to get into Sharlock.
And now with this incredible HP gain or strength gain here, now this grind is going to go even faster for jkoper.
Absolutely, and all of a sudden we have a little bit of a race coming here. So up2ng definitely has the advantage in what is complete, but him not having the death necklace could definitely result in him having to grind an extra level. So jkoper has some time here to try to catch up. He's going to need a couple of things to go right his way, though.
So up2ng finding that the Armored Knight does have the spell of sleep, but that it can be blocked. So I believe now up2ng is going to settle into a grind here. Meanwhile, we do have jkoper temporarily taking the experience lead, and probably will only see that pretty well just, flatline a little bit until jkoper needs to refill his resources and hopefully go check out the world map for some of these things that he needs.
Absolutely, and up2ng, given a little bit of the business here, the Armored Knight has attacked him first twice in a row now. Such is the life with 45 agility, I guess.
Yeah, their agility in this seed is drastically low at this point in time for level 11. But everything else is actually a pretty good value at this point. Lord of the Synth noting in chat that at this agility level and this defensive power, that the max physical attack from the Dragon Lord is only 54.
Yeah, that's definitely something that's encouraging to see. We would like to see a lot less, but it means that we may not have to grind for agility quite so much. And jkoper hitting level 12 picks up Hurt Matter, and now all of a sudden this grind is going to fly by. up2ng going to start using that Hurt More spell to maximum efficiency, I would imagine.
Oh, and of course, jkoper runs into a red dragon exactly when you don't want to see a red dragon. And will the fun police be sending jkoper back to start? Maybe? Yep, back to start goes jkoper.
And here's something that's interesting, though. jkoper's attack power is high enough to where he has a very, very good chance of 3-shotting a red dragon. So that's something to keep in mind, is that their attack power is high enough to start taking on these enemies.
Asher asking in chat, 82, the power of 82 at level 12 isn't bad, but what is jkoper's exploration deficit? I think the best way to put it is large. The exploration deficit is very, very large. jkoper has only seen a very, very fraction of this map, and up2ng is in grind and go mode. So, I mean, at this point, jkoper needs a whole lot of luck to find what he needs in relatively quick order. And what does he need? Well, he needs the Silver Harp, which, if I remember correctly, was in the Tantegel Treasury. We need the Stones of Sunlight, which is in the first floor of the Grave of Garen, which is way out in the middle of nowhere. And we need Erdrick's Token, which was in a chest somewhere, but it was in the Tablet Cave, right here in the Tablet Cave.
Yeah, this is the one that was going to be really out of the way for him. The grave is also a little bit out of the way as well. But the big thing is that jkoper is going to have to swing back to the other side of Swamp in order to find the Shrine Cave. And with him seeing those tougher enemies over there, he might be deterred from doing that here for a bit. Try to find everything else first, which could potentially lead to a downfall here. And Ali Gerbrap, yes, jkoper does know where the harp is. His first file, he did open up the treasury and then decided not to when he saw a slime on a second file.
Yeah, so he knows where the harp is. I don't know if he has it or not, and I'm not sure which save file he's on at this point, because he has made 3 different save files throughout the course of this race here, and I don't know which one he's on, so I don't know if he actually has the harp or not. Our tracker Wicked Gamer Dude is confirming that he does not have the silver harp in his possession at this time.
Yes, so when he reset, he used that key to go back into the mountain cave, and that's where he saw that first metal slime, and that's what deterred him from resetting and keeping the harp. He just has to remember where it's at.
So right now, jkoper's goal is to not let the experience gap get too big, while at the same time efficiently exploring basically this entire map. It's a daunting challenge, but we'll see. CD Improv in chat asking where the large shield was. I believe the large shield was either in Garenham or Cole.
So it was available in Garenham that we have seen. I believe I saw one with the magic armor paired in Garenham as well. And the big HP boost coming at level 13 is definitely good news. But then coming up with 3 strength on this level, this is definitely not what up2ng wants to see. He wants to see good, steady attack power gains along with this HP that he's picking up.
But that said, up2ng is certainly closing in on acceptable ranges for the Dragon Lord. His attack power is actually doable if he had more HP and MP. So, we will see what level 14 brings here, but this could very easily be a seed where level 16 is absolutely positively not required. It's kind of sort of leaning in that general direction.
Yeah, absolutely. And the big thing here is jkoper going to have to grind the same amount of experience to get to Dragon Lord eligibility or not? Now, jkoper is just a few steps away from the grave here. I believe it's just south and just east of this cave here. So he could be very quickly picking up the Stones of Sunlight, and then he has to book it back and go straight back and go through the Swamp Cave in order to keep this experience gap closed. So a lot has to go right here.
Yep, and Lorgon noting in chat that up2ng is going to have one of the longest grinds ever without having to visit an inn. I mean, really, this armored knight with such a low stop spell resistance and hurt and sleep is an absolutely phantasmic grind spot. I mean, you really can't ask for more here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I saw 1 in 16 for the stop spell fizzle. So unfortunately, up2ng is just going to keep hacking these down, and his experience lead just gets bigger and bigger with each passing fight.
jkoper using one of his several acquired torches to light up the grave, and we'll find the dragon scale, and right next to it, the stones of sunlight. Donning the scale of the dragon. Now the question is, does jkoper remember where the silver harp is? Casting outside, a very good indication that he does indeed.
So right now what he is looking for is Garanham. And Garanham is right over here. So this is a one continent seed. That's very interesting to see. This works to his favor very, very well. He's going to pick up the 3 chests back here, find the silver harp, trade in, but he needs to go back to Tantagel Castle in order to get it. He does not know that Garanham was the town that was on the other side of the swamp cave, so he might end up walking all the way back over here. And to answer the question in chat, yes, CD Improv, he did pick a large shield. jkoper has the large shield now, which gives an extra 10 defense. And up2ng really starting to crunch those numbers there. Still a little low on HP and MP to make this a viable dive. His agility is also a very large problem.
Talks to the old man, forgetting while he knows where the silver harp is, forgetting he doesn't have it in his inventory at this exact point in time. Now, level 14, as chat noticing, was a rather abysmal level, going, for all ones except for agility, which is nice to have agility, 9 extra agility. That's always a nice thing this late in the seed, but, getting 1 strength, 1 HP, 1 MP, that's very, well, that's a rather ungood level.
Yes, Empty Eyes emote that he decided to put next to it sums that level up very well. You just kind of feel indifferent about it. And a very heads-up play by jkoper here. jkoper electing to pick up a set of wings here. That is actually a very nice play on his part, as the wings, they don't have the return spell yet, and that attack power is looking pretty close to what jkoper might die for if he feels like he's behind.
Meanwhile, up2ng just keeps on exterminating these armored knights for 172 experience a pop.
Yeah, absolutely. And the experience deficit here, over 2,000 experience in up2ng's favor. jkoper making the walk all the way back over to Garanham. It's not a super far walk, but it's definitely a longer walk than he wants. So now that we're rapidly approaching the Sharlock dive, just to kind of recap, there are 2 very favorable enemies in Sharlock that we have seen so far. Actually, 3 of them. We don't know if the Star Wyvern has good stop spell resistance or not, but it has a similar attack set to the Armored Knight with the Sleep spell and the Hurt spell respectively. And then we also have the Blue Dragons with the Spell of Stop spell and Baby Breath. So that's 3 enemies in Sharlock that these runners are pretty safe with.
Yeah, and the red dragons, I'm pretty sure, do nothing but attack. So, yeah, so really the major thing is going to be these armored knights back attacking you with sleep. Although that even isn't too bad given their high propensity for hurt.
Absolutely. They're pretty much just going to be speed bumps in the road. It's going to be dependent upon how comfortable these runners are expending MP whenever they see one, and what resources they need to get to the bottom of Sherlock with. And Lorgon has a very good question here. If the next level is a borderline level, we have a great grind. Maybe grind another level just to secure it. And I think that's definitely something that we will see, especially with this lower agility stat. That's going to be really, really the determining factor here. And Zarnax pointing out that the next level is going to be the MDI level, with the exception of HP, which would work in jkoper's favor.
We do have up2ng quickly approaching level 15.
Yep, this Armored Knight here will be enough for him to grab it. And then jkoper is also in Garenham. He will be trading in for the Staff of Rain here. I don't know if he saw the jerk or not, though.
Kevin Hupp asking in chat, why is jkoper so far behind? He had a non-ideal start. I will go over it in 1 second here once we go through this level here for up2ng. 8 power 1 hit. This is borderline. But basically what happens here, what happened here is we had a Swamp Lock start with 10 HP. The zone with the weak enemies was to the left of Tantagel, which was Swamp Locked. So with Swamp Lock and only 10 HP, you can't really do much in the way of grinding. So up2ng found a herb grind at the start of the seed, used that herb grind to go south and west of Tantagel Castle to get to the town of Cole, which had Erdrick's armor. With Erdrick's armor, he could go through the swamp and go kill his enemies he needed, go to Rimmeldar, which was right nearby, pick up some keys, and get Erdrick's sword, and then it was off to the races. Meanwhile, it took jkoper about 25-30 minutes to kill a metal slime that he found in the mountain cave in the basement of Tantagel Castle.
And Game Boy F9 in chat pointing out 8 to 17 on 12 heal mores. So just kind of pointing out and reaffirming that this is definitely a very borderline level. 67 agility, definitely not favorable here. It's doable if we can get to the bottom with all of our stats intact, but we're going to need to see some of those favorable enemies that we've been talking about here.
Now, it'll be interesting to see if up2ng does a dive and grind here. Oh, and jkoper does pick up his rainbow drop, so now jkoper is officially in grind and go mode.
Yes, absolutely, and he still has yet to find Sherlock, I think. I don't think I've seen it on his screen, so he's probably going to go looking for it and hope that he can get a relatively decent level off of level 14, because that would put him in position to finish out the game. Because he is not heading back to Hawksness, which is where he would be going if he was planning on going back and grinding. To answer Ali Gerbrap in chat, I don't believe that jkoper has seen the Sherlock Castle yet. I think that. Oh,
Go ahead.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think that the play for jkoper right now is going to be going back to Hawksness, finishing out that grind. He wants to find Charlotte Castle for sure first, but we have not seen it yet on his screen. He might be checking out to see what the grind spot here is as well.
Yeah, there's no harm in checking this, although I don't know if you can get much better than an Armored Knight. Red Dragon's certainly not it.
Well, the Red Dragon would give a lot more experience. You're going to be averaging about the same number of attacks per fight, because you're having to cast Stop Spell against the Armored Knight, but it's going to be much more resource intensive. So I definitely agree with you on the Red Dragon not being the enemy that we're looking for here.
Yeah, his experience will certainly grow quicker fighting the Red Dragons, but the problem is it is much more resource intensive than the Armored Knights up in Hawksness are.
Absolutely, and up2ng is having a terrific run through Charlotte Castle. He is into the last enemy domain zone, finding a golem, putting that fairy flute to excellent use here. It should be pretty safe to make it all the way to the Dragon Lord. This floor here and the next floor is pretty short. We're seeing a Stoneman here as well, which he's got a decent chance of running away from.
You realize all y'all are just now cursing up2ng, right? I mean, we're commentating it. You guys are pointing it out in the chat. At some point, up2ng is going to hit an absolute brick wall, and it'll be all y'all's fault.
I think that the only brick wall that he could really hit at this point would be a Red Dragon. But with this HP, he should be able to take it down before he dies, and he's got plenty of herbs.
Oh, it looks like he's going to go check out for the fighter's ring here in the treasury.
Yeah, the fighter's ring would definitely make this a little bit safer. And Game Boy F9 playing the pyramid game, guessing the $150 chest on the pyramid here. And Tardu is guessing 300 for it.
And it is in the 250.
And up2ng picking up the fighter's ring, putting it on immediately, adds an extra 2 attack power to his score, giving him 136, which gives him a 9 to 18 damage range on the Dragon Lord.
Right, 9 to 18 means he is doing an average of, what is that? That's 13 and a half per swing. So we're looking at, 12 swings, 12 heal mores? Math works out very nice.
And 103 HP is not going to be great to be guaranteeing doubles. 73 defense power. I believe the Dragon Lord's maximum damage is 51 at that point with a physical attack. So he's going to be looking to keep his HP high throughout this fight. Oh, we got a golem on the spike tile here. So the fairy's flute is going to make a difference here. up2ng is going to be able to swing right through this, hopefully, without burning too many resources.
All right, so up2ng getting through the golem, and now just has to get through this golem in order to get to Dragon Lord.
Yeah, the really nice thing here is that he's got an herb left here to try to buffer a turn to get to better HP position here.
Okay, let's see. Will up2ng use an herb? Yep, he uses an herb to refill a little bit. Oh, but Dragonlord does not play nicely and uses Hurt more.
Yeah, absolutely. This is definitely not the start that you want to be walking into DL2 with. Unfortunately, the back attack there being very, very likely. Going to have to burn a heal more right off the bat before you even get an attack. So up2ng is looking a little rough here, but starts with a very above average roll.
We're starting with a 16. Let's see what else we can put on the board here. We have a 16. We have a 32. $32 and 11 makes 43. With another 9. Ooh, that's bad. That makes 52.
Yeah, we definitely don't want to see too many more of those, and we have a 10. Unfortunately, another near minimum.
So we're up to 62 damage now. Should be able to attack here. So we're adding another 12 on for 74. We are halfway home-ish. Up to 90. $107. These rolls are looking good. $123. This is looking better. $134. With a 15, $149. The next attack could do it. 2 should definitely. So as long as nothing stupid happens here, he's got it. 14 takes down the Dragon Lord. And up2ng will win this race and go on to face Thurwolf in the semifinals.
Absolutely. This was definitely a very, very well played race for up2ng. up2ng also just making some very heads up plays in the beginning here, electing to grind outside of the castle instead of being his head against some exploration here. Just a really, really well played race for him.
And everybody in chat, get out your GGs. Up to No Good has officially finished in first place in this race with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 14 minutes, and 3 seconds. Well done to up2ng.
And jkoper is actually very close to Sharlock now. He just needs to head straight north and he will see it. And that will be his Sharlock Castle. He's only at level 14, so...
So at this point now, just a little more to the west and a little more north, and jkoper should find Sharlock Castle, in theory.
Yes, definitely, in theory, making good use of his fairies flute here. Gonna just nope out of this golem fight here. Or not. Looks like he's going to go ahead and take it down for a nice 255 experience, which puts him just inches away from level 15. All right, I give up. Where is jkoper? Okay, that looks to be Breckenary, so he should be just east of here for Sherlock Castle. Or not.
So Sherlock is north of Cantlin. So once he finds Cantlin, he can just go straight north.
I thought I saw him just pass by it, but I guess not.
And I'm pretty sure Cantlin is over here, I think, to the east, I think.
And jkoper once again getting ever closer to that level 15 benchmark here. And there is the big C. After he sees level 15, we'll probably see him just pit stop straight into Cantlin and go ahead and stay at the inn, and then he will be heading in for his fight, most likely.
And with that chime, we are joined by up2ng in Discord. Up2, nicely played. Good, well done, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, that was one of the crazier starts that I've navigated through in quite a while, and yeah, that was just crazy. I felt like I got extraordinarily lucky in the beginning, so I mean, I don't know.
So I'm gonna point this out to you here because I know that I know that you have strong feelings about this, and I might as well just say it. The second enemy jkoper killed was a metal slime down in the mountain cave.
Oh, cool. Okay.
I'm
actually glad he found a way to get started, because it was a chance that he could have just never gotten started.
It was 25 minutes into the season.
Yeah. All right. Well, so that's good. I'm kind of in favor of the scared metal slimes flag, but in situations where it's really hard to get started in the other way, I guess I'm kind of glad that he found one at that stage. So I mean. It was really it was crazy. I had to walk halfway across the world to find a town where I could actually buy a weapon. It was just, I was so lucky.
Yeah, but at the same time, finding Erdrick's armor so early really kind of put you in the catbird seat, because you could walk around that swamp where Zone 0 was and get your early levels, get that key, get Erdrick's sword, and then your life was golden from there.
Yeah, and it wasn't very it wasn't far away, but it wasn't obvious to walk that way, because I forget how I had to loop around, and maybe there was a little bit of swamp there or something, and all of a sudden that town was there. I was looking for a town to be able to buy a weapon, and when the armor was there, I was like, oh wow, well this helps a lot. It still doesn't help me kill anything, but at least I could survive. Like you said, you could walk around that swamp. I didn't have to worry about using up all my herbs. I started with the 6 herbs in the beginning, so it was I guess we should probably play this out, since it's possible with 6 herbs to maybe get started, but I don't know. I mean, I was very close to just requesting a reseed. I don't like those kind of starts, so I was pretty close to just seeing if he wanted to reseed it, but then, I got started, and who knows what he found, so I don't know. It's kind of a crazy start, though.
Yeah, jkoper had the opportunity to do a gold grind. He did a complete file reset and went back down into the mountain cave and got a gold grind off of the last chest in the mountain cave. He unfortunately wasn't able to make it to Garenham with the gold to get the silver shield, so that definitely played into this quite a bit, especially with the armored knight. It wouldn't have made that big of a difference with the armored knight, but it would have made a huge difference against the dragon lord. So that's something that definitely swung into your favor there. Was that
so he did all that on level 1? He got a gold grind going like that? Wow.
No, it was right. Go ahead.
He was level 6 because he had just killed his metal slime.
Oh, okay. All right. And then with that money, he could have at least gotten the broadsword, I guess, out of Rimildar, right? And then, yeah, I don't know. That seems good.
He actually checked the Rimildar chest before the armory, so he had the sword first.
Oh.
Well,
nice.
He had the sword
I'm glad
before
he
checking the armory.
get going. Yeah. I was worried it was going to be one of those seeds where I was going and he wasn't, But it kind of threw me off because I wandered over so much of the map in the beginning just looking for stuff that I couldn't really remember where everything was. And then it was like, it kind of just threw me off by like the way that I normally play this game, where I like to kind of go slowly across the map, you know. And all of a sudden I'm trying to remember what I found and how many places I've been to. And then at one point I forgot that I'd picked up the token in a loose chest because I was like thinking about, all right, which towns have I found and all that stuff. And so then I go and get the coordinates for no reason. And like, I just felt like I was playing bad in the middle because I was just so thrown off.
Yeah, absolutely. The only other thing that I have to ask you is, obviously level 15 worked out very well for you. Were you hesitant on diving at 15? Were you thinking about potentially grinding on your way down, or what were you thinking?
It was just kind of gross. I mean, it just so happened that I was like out of MP at that moment on my grind. So I was like, I could cast Repel and head over to Charlock, but this level is really gross because of the agility mostly. I really didn't know what to do if I was to find Armored Knights in Charlock because casting like any stop spells would have like hurt my MP total. And it was just like, I guess we got to just try and see what's in there. It was just like the easiest Charlock ever with the enemies, but obviously it could have been the other way with Red Dragons and Armored Knights, and agility in the 60s is always just gross. So I was certainly considering just going back to Hawksness. Dive and grind in that spot wouldn't have worked well because I didn't get the Silver Shield and I had defense power in the 70s. I wasn't breaking anything. HP was low, so I wasn't gonna. I didn't feel like I was gonna be able to fight my way down. I was just really just diving, and then if I just ran into a brick wall, I was just gonna have to go get another level in Hawksness.
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely worked out really well for you. We also have jkoper on the bottom floor, taking the golem on the spike tile on. Getting a little bit of unluckiness here, down to 18 HP. He's also missing that 12th heal more.
So is he on the same level as I had, or no?
Yes, he is on level 15.
Oh, yeah. I went and got the fighter's ring out of there, and it was kind of like a last-second thing. I was like, you know what? Maybe I should go look for the fighter's ring, because you don't know. With low defense power, you know, dealing with the mini-boss, first of all, that could throw you off. And then, like, DL1 is much worse with low defense power. So there was no guarantee I was going to get, you know, any attacks in on DL2 and stuff. So I was like, you know what? 2 more offense here would be really nice.
Yeah, and definitely the other big thing here is that DL1 did not play nice with you at all. You got hurt moored and then got back attacked immediately and had to burn that first heal more.
Yeah.
So you definitely look to have a little more leeway if things would have gone right, but
but you have to kind of expect that when you have both low agility and low defense power. You know, it's defense power in the 70s. You know, you don't defense break DL1 until 90. And so I fully expected not to be able to get multiple hits. You know, we didn't have any leeway with HP. Like, if you go in with like 125 HP, sometimes you can take a hit and still get 2 turns, you know. But yeah, no, I mean, that was all part of the reason why I got the fighter's ring. Like, I knew that the DL1 fight could go poorly.
Absolutely. jkoper got really lucky and got a low physical from the Dragon Lord, did not get back attack, so ended up with an opening double.
And that was after casting Healmore against the Golem, getting absolute crap fairy flute luck. So
yeah, I put every single Golem I came across to sleep too, which cost like a whole minute probably. But I was, you know what, like I got ambushed once or twice by Golems and I got blocked, and everything else they hit for like 40 damage. It's just, you know what, I'm gonna put you to sleep every time. I don't care.
Yeah, absolutely. And jkoper unfortunately mismenued against the DL2.
I was hoping it would work out well for him. It was a really close fight at that level. I was hoping he would get him there, but yeah, that's a shame. I'm glad it turned out to be a pretty good race, though.
Hello?
Okay, and with that thing, I do believe we have jkoper joining us in Discord. Koper, oh, what a seed, huh?
Yeah, that was interesting. And I learned something, so that's always fun.
Oh, what's that? What did you learn?
well, when I saved with the door open, and then the door wasn't open anymore. So, yeah.
Oh, so
don't
you're
know.
talking
Just
you're
like-
talking about the door being opened with the key and then you reset, but it still wasn't open.
Right. Yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah.
Although maybe I should have known that. I don't know. I should have known that open doors don't carry through resets. Yeah.
So I do have a question for you, jkoper.
Yeah.
What made you do the resets over and over again? You did 3 altogether, I think.
Well, I was trying different approaches with our keys. So the third one was because the door was closed, and I couldn't do anything at that point. Or,
Okay.
yeah.
You definitely had a really, really good mid game. up2ng was almost 2,000 experience ahead of you, and you closed up that gap very well with that Armored Knight grind. Unfortunately, things just didn't quite work out with item placement and stuff for you to be able to maintain that momentum.
Yeah, I don't know how I lost 11 minutes. Like, obviously, I forgot that I didn't have the silver harp, and I had a little trouble finding Sherlock, and I don't know what the other thing was, but yeah, I don't know. I don't feel like I got particularly lucky, but at least I got the metal slime to get started. I'm curious how the seed started for up2ng.
Hey, jkoper, GG, by the way. They filled me in about how you got started there, and about how long it took, and I got a very lucky hero walk halfway across the world, and ended up in Garenham, and I sold the death necklace and bought a club, basically, and a large shield, and that was shortly after finding coal for the armor. So at that point, I was able to just kind of grind like in the swamp and get out of jail there. That was at around like 8 or 9 minutes for me. So, yeah, I had to go through Swamp Cave. I couldn't believe I got all the way over there on level 1. So, I don't know. That's how it worked.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess that the not finding coal earlier is definitely something that I screwed up because it was very close to start, and I just never went down for some reason. I was thinking about going down too. It's like, I've gone right and I go up, and I usually, I think, go these directions for some reason. And why aren't I going down? But yeah. With the so what I did, when I saw the 2 keys, I saved, and then checked the treasury to see what was in there. And then when there was nothing in there, I reset, and then I looked in the other key door to see what was in the cave there, and I made it quite a bit pretty early. Quite far the first time, and I got to the torch chest, which obviously wasn't helpful. Yeah, I was just hoping for some gold somewhere. It would have been great with knowing that Rimaldar was right there. So then I tried to reset, or I restarted, and I ground some herbs so that I could do better overworld exploration. Yeah, I never did anything with that file, I guess, because I looked around and I just didn't look in the right direction, apparently. If I would have looked down, that would have been helpful, I'm sure.
Okay, that makes sense. I did that third thing, basically. I tried for a level 1 grind by like going in and out of the throne room, and I ended up with an herb grind. So with the 6 herbs, I just decided to keep that because of the swamp. And I was like, well, at least we can get out of the swamp with these 6 herbs a few times, just see what's there, And
yeah, getting out of the swamp wasn't all that helpful, though, unless you found something, because, like, we only had 5 strength, and the slimes weren't easy to come by. I found some. I think what made me ultimately stick with just repeatedly diving into Mountain Cave over and over again was the fact that there were slimes there. So I got up to 3 XP while trying to actually get to something worthwhile out of those chests in there. And then I had seen a metal slime in there early. So then I tried saving so I could reset quicker to get back down if I encountered a blue dragon or something in Mountain Cave. And then when I reset, then the door was locked, so I started a new file, and then I decided to give a couple tries at just going down the first staircase in the Mountain Cave and trying to get a metal slime there. So I eventually did, and I guess thankfully, because I who knows how badly I would have been beaten if I didn't get a metal slime there.
Yeah, that makes sense seeing the slime, actually. I had seen one. By the time I went in there, I saw one also, which was helpful. Because like you said, I don't remember what was fightable out in the world, because I saw a bunch of scorpions and magidrakes. That wasn't very useful.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I saw a drake here too, and maybe one red slime sometime. And there were some slimes over in the east, and I kind of thought about just trying to kill them. But yeah, like we would have to use an herb every time to get out of the swamp. So basically, a potential solution would have been to, grind up 6 herbs and then use an herb to get out, find a slime, get an experience point, and then save, I guess, and then keep doing that. But that would have taken 5 herbs just to get 1 level, and I don't even know what was at level 2 because I skipped them all.
Yeah, I remember level 2 being really terrible, actually. And that was actually my plan. That's exactly what I was trying to do, is to just find something I could kill, and then if I did, I was going to just save with whatever other herbs I still had,
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah, I guess my big mistake was not going south and finding the armor, because that would have been extremely helpful, and it was so close to start. So, yeah, but otherwise I had fun trying to come up with various ways to get out of the start, and I was kind of wondering if maybe you had actually asked for a reseed at some point, but I mean, apparently you don't need to ask for reseeds if you don't get encounters. I don't know.
Yeah, I was pretty close a couple of times, because it did take several forays out of the castle before things got started, but I just kept feeling like, well, we have these 6 herbs. It feels like we should have some way to do this. But if 5 more minutes had gone by, I probably would have asked for a reseed.
Yeah. Which I don't like doing, but anyway, GG, congrats.
GG.
I don't know that I could have won this based on what you said, but oh well. I had fun, and I think I played well for the most part. In retrospect, the only real decision that I would have done differently is trying to get that, or going south, I guess, for the armor, but I don't think it would have mattered anyway. So good luck in the next round. Sounds like you're. Well, I don't want to spoil it. Maybe they already talked about it, but that race just happened, and maybe people want to watch it.
All right. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the restream commentary tracking, guys.
And thank you for racing, jkoper. It is always a pleasure to see you run.
Thanks.
So, any comments about moving forward into the best 2 out of 3 semifinals up to NG?
Yeah, that would be a lot different to be able to have 2 out of 3 instead of everything's do or die in the first few rounds of the brackets. And so I'm not sure if that would necessarily change anything, like strategy wise, or what sort of risks might be taken or anything. But at least if you have like a really bad luck in round 1, then you have a chance to bounce back or whatever. So it'll be fun. And yeah, I caught the that race, so I'm familiar with who it is, and looking forward to that one.
And we have discussed it in chat and in commentary a little bit, so it is not necessarily a spoiler anymore as to who won. So
yeah, I didn't catch the whole thing, so I'm looking forward to going back and watching that. It sounded like it was an excellent race, actually. So
you absolutely should. It was an excellent race.
But thanks to you guys for the coverage. I know we had 2 quarterfinals in one day, which I was surprised. When we picked Monday, I thought we were going to be the only ones because that seemed to be a slow day, previously. But it just worked out that way, and I'm glad we got the coverage for it. So I appreciate you guys on the commentary, restream, tracking, and that was awesome.
So coming up next, at least as far as the Dragon Warrior Randomizer tournament goes, we do have our 3rd quarterfinal scheduled between Lorgon and High Spirit. It is not tomorrow, it is the day after, so it is Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. We do not yet have a restream location for that, but we do know it is Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. The 4th quarterfinal matchup we have is Mr. Holmes versus Beta Strep, and that is still in negotiation. We still do not know exactly when that is going to take place, but we do have 2 of our semifinalists down, and we've got 2 more to name this week, so we're very much looking forward to it. Amused Miniature, do you have any other comments or anything before we head out of here?
The only thing that I really have to add is that this seed is the kind of seed that you want to see in these higher level brackets. It is so nice to see the different approaches that are used by these top players, and it's always a treat to be able to watch, and you actually can take things from it and learn, oh, okay, that means that I can do that or that. So it's definitely a learning experience for a newer player like myself, and I definitely took a lot from this match.
Yeah, indeed. And once more, we do want to shout out our restreamer, Lord of the Synth, and we do want to shout out our tracker, Wicked Gamer Dude. And if you haven't yet, please make sure you bop the follow button for jkoper and up2ng. They're both amazing runners, amazing streamers, and you will always be entertained when watching their streams. But for now, I think the plan is to go raid Speed Gaming, who is currently hosting a Zelda 1 randomizer tournament race. So, again, for our restreamer, Lord of the Synth, for our tracker, Wicked Gamer Dude, for my co-commentator, The Amused Miniature, I am Z-Man. Ladies and gentlemen, have a great night.